Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. This is question number 4 or mas'ala number 4 in Kitab al-Nikah. Let me read the Arabic for you. The author says وَيَنْعَقِدُ بِلَفْظِ الْبَيْعِ هُوَ السَّحِي لِوُجُودِ طَرِيقِ الْمَجَازِ. And he continues وَلَا يَنْعَقِدُ بِلَفْظِ الْإِجَارَةِ فِي الصَّحِيحِ لأنه ليس بسبب لملك المتعة ولا بلفظ الإباحة والإحلال والإعادة لما قلنا ولا بلفظ الوصية لأنها توجب الملك مضافا إلى ما بعد الموت. Okay, so let's go through this very slowly. It's nice and easy, but it's very useful, alhamdulillah. So I've just lettered them for you. A, B, and C. 3 scenarios or 3 particular cases I want to look up. So this is continuing from the previous video in terms of asking the question, what type of wording or phrasing will conclude a nikah contract? So the author says that with the verbs or the use of bay, i.e. buying and selling, it will happen. Somebody says that, I sell myself to you, then that's done. Okay. And huwa sahih. So this is really interesting because when they say huwa sahih, it means there's some khilaf there. There's some ikhtilaf there amongst the jurists. So, for example, Abu Bakr al-A'mash, he says that it doesn't happen because the word bay, when you say bay, it's specific to owning wealth. With wealth, you exchange wealth for wealth. And of course, in nikah, you're not exchanging wealth for wealth. We respond quite simply based on what we said before, that when we're using the word bay, we don't mean bay, we mean ownership. So we take a figurative meaning. We talked about this in the previous video. If you've missed it, you can rewatch it or read it there. Okay, so that's straightforward. Then he says that, however, the nikah contract will not take place if you use wording that's to do with rental or hire. And again, he says fi sahihi, because of course there's some ikhtilaf here. So hiring or words that imply the meaning of renting, for example, is not allowed. Of course, there's a debate here. Imam Qarhi says you are actually allowed to do it because you own the right to benefit from that. You have the right to benefit from it, so you're allowed to do it. That's what he says. But we respond that this is actually not a case of ownership. Remember we said in a previous video, you have to own the item. When you rent something or you take something out on an ijara contract, you don't own that item. And there's no figurative meaning, because the figurative meaning means that it must imply this idea of ownership. And you don't own what you rent, quite simply. The final one is this final siyara will wasiya. So if someone makes a bequest or uses the phrasing of a bequest, again, they say that the contract doesn't happen, even though it fulfills this idea of ownership, which is key for the fuqaha, as we've seen in this video and the previous one. However, it doesn't happen at that moment. If you remember, we talked about fil hal, which is a key legal understanding here, because you own it after the person dies. So there's a timing issue here. So this you can see throughout all of these 4 cases. You can now, by the end of this video, summarize the key talking points or the key ideas that you should be aware of. We can use literal meaning, we can use figurative meaning. It must be ownership at that precise moment in time without any ambiguity. Hope that's useful. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.